Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update for Thursday, September 24th. This video is for those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits, and for anyone else that's wondering about the second stimulus check and the stimulus package negotiations. In this video, I'm going to be going over the following topics. First of all, the IRS is going to be sending out 9 million letters to those of you that still have not received your first stimulus check. I'm going to be talking about that. Next, there are two ways that we could be receiving a second stimulus check, and I'm going to go over those two ways and the possibility of those actually happening. And last, I'm going to be talking about the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who has been testifying this week before Congress about the economy and about the need for more stimulus. I want to welcome back those subscribers to my channel. Thank you once again for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, my name is Justin and I do stimulus check updates and give financial advice. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And if you would, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button so that YouTube will share this video with others like you. So first off, there are about 9 million people that still have not received their first stimulus check. Many of those people are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. I continue to get a lot of comments from people that still haven't received their first stimulus check, so I want to go over this quickly. First off, if you have not received your first stimulus check and you are a non-filer, the IRS is going to be sending out letters that are basically going to show you what you need to do if you haven't received your first stimulus check. Basically, they're the same instructions I've been giving in my videos for a few weeks now. You need to fill out the non-filers tool if you do not file taxes, and you need to continue calling the IRS if you don't have an answer about your first stimulus check. Many of you are wondering why you need to continue calling the IRS. And that's only if you need to get your first stimulus check, if you have filled out the non-filers tool and you still don't have your first stimulus check. Continue calling the IRS. They do have some representatives that can take your information and actually help you. The number is 1-800-919-9835. There are two deadlines for the non-filers tool. First one is if you have dependents that you need to claim and you haven't filled out the non-filers tool yet, the deadline is September 30th. The second deadline is October 15th. If you don't fill it out by those two deadlines, if you have dependents by September 30th, or if you don't have dependents you need to claim by October 15th, if you don't fill out the non-filers tool by those two deadlines, then you will need to file taxes in 2021 to actually get your $1,200 stimulus check from the first round of stimulus. So that's for those of you that still haven't received your first stimulus check. For those of you that are wondering about the second stimulus check, there are basically two ways at this point that we can get a second stimulus check. Neither of these have happened yet. We are still waiting on a proposal for the second stimulus check or the second thing that I'm going to talk about in a second. But there is not a second stimulus check at this time. They still haven't agreed to a deal. I just want to make that clear. I still get people asking me, when are we going to get the second stimulus check? At this point, unfortunately, we don't know. But the two ways that we could get a second stimulus check are, first, the one I usually talk about. That is a deal that is made between the House and the Senate and is agreed to and then sent and basically voted on and passed in both the House and the Senate as part of a bigger stimulus package. The Problem Solvers Caucus was such a proposal that basically it was a $1,200 stimulus check for individuals, including those on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or VA benefits, and basically anyone else that received the first stimulus check. That proposal, however, was rejected by the leaders in the House of Representatives, including Nancy Pelosi. So that Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, I liked it. I thought it was such a good deal, or such a good proposal, but the leaders in the House of Representatives did not like it and basically didn't even give it a chance. That option of receiving an overall stimulus package deal is looking less likely before the upcoming October recess. So the House of Representatives is set to go on recess and the Senate is set to go on recess as well. Both of them appear to be they're going to possibly go on recess before passing any stimulus package. That's my concern. However, there is one other way that we could receive second stimulus checks, and that's through an executive order by President Trump. President Trump has been saying for months that he wants to get out stimulus checks to individuals, and he wants to get out another stimulus check to individuals because the first one was so successful. President Trump has done some executive orders in the past, some that were an eviction moratorium, a payroll tax holiday, an unemployment benefit extension, and student loan forbearance until the end of the year. However, those were basically kind of smaller than what he was really trying to do and weren't really far-reaching and didn't affect most of you that are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. However, if he can do a stimulus check via executive order, he's basically said, if Congress can't act, I'm going to try and do it. The problem is Congress controls all the funds, and the House of Representatives specifically has been said to own the power of the purse, or basically the ability to tax people and also spend that money on programs or bills or anything else. The House of Representatives controls that power. Of course, President Trump has said that there are about $300 billion that are left over from the CARES Act that have not been used. He wants to use those $300 billion to send out a second stimulus check. I think the reason why he hasn't done that yet, well, or probably a couple of reasons why, is first off, he's waiting for Congress to act because he's even said he wants Congress to pass a stimulus package rather than him doing it via executive order. The other thing is he may not even be able to issue a second stimulus check via executive order. And I think that's something that they're trying to figure out, is there a way that I can legally create an executive order and actually send out stimulus checks? So unfortunately, those are the two ways that stimulus checks could happen. The first one is looking less likely, like I said. A deal between the House and the Senate that's actually signed into law by President Trump is looking less likely before the October recess, unfortunately. President Trump signing an executive order, I think, is probably a little more likely at this point than a stimulus package getting done before October. So anyway, if they can reach a deal, and if President Trump actually does an executive order, Stephen Mnuchin has said that they can get stimulus checks out within a week. However, a deal has to be done. It doesn't do us any good if he can get them out a week if there's no deal. So Congress, you really need to just act. You really need to just get together, work out a deal between the two sides, and send out stimulus checks to people. Get all the other things if you want later on, but get stimulus checks out to people. There are so many people that are struggling and need help. So this week, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has been testifying before Congress, and he's been talking about the economy and about stimulus and how the economy is doing and if there is a need for more stimulus checks. And he's actually suggested that there is a need for more stimulus checks. In fact, he said the lack of stimulus will start to show up in economic activity. It'll also start to show up in things like evictions and foreclosures and things that will scar and damage the economy. Now, I'm less worried about the overall economy than I am about the people that are being evicted and losing their homes. That's what I'm worried about. I know many of you are worried about that as well. Jerome Powell also said both employment and overall economic activity, however, remain well below their pre-pandemic levels, and the path ahead continues to be highly uncertain. The downturn has not fallen equally on all Americans. Those least able to bear the burden have been the most affected. And he's right. The people that have least been able to basically go through an economic downturn have been the ones that have been most effective. Many of the people in the service industries have lost their jobs. Many of the people that are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits are struggling because the cost of food has gone up and the cost of a lot of things has gone up. Those are the people that have really been affected by this pandemic and by these shutdowns and by all of the economic problems that we've been having. So Jerome Powell is absolutely right. Those that have least been able to weather this storm have been the ones that have been most hit by it. So I implore Congress, act. You need to pass something. You need to pass a deal that gets some money out to individuals and get some help that people are so desperately in need of. I still think if President Trump can figure out a way to send out stimulus checks by executive order, he's going to do it. Especially if Congress doesn't act before the October recess, that basically leaves them no time to pass anything before the November election. And I think if President Trump can, he will send out a second stimulus check via executive order. Unfortunately, like I said, at this point, we have no idea when the next stimulus check is going to come. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. There isn't really much progress that's going on between the House and the Senate and the, Nancy Pelosi and all of the people that have been negotiating the stimulus package all along. I wish I had better news for you guys, but I will continue to keep you up to date on all the latest and keep you up to date on what I think is going to happen and basically the prospects we have for the next stimulus check and for the overall stimulus package. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon.